Okay, good morning. I'm trying desperately to get things back to normal, and it's not working real well. You know the deal about the shooting and the fact that the FBI is not allowing Minnesotans to investigate. They're cutting them out. And then this morning, another shooting happened in Portland, Oregon. ICE shot a couple. Um, I believe that we're heading towards a very bad situation, but orchestrated by Donald Trump. And you guys that are sitting there saying we're gonna do the, don't worry, we'll take care of this come November. No, you won't. It's all over, folks. There will be no 2026 elections. Trump is going to declare martial law. He's going to cancel the elections. And you guys are going to end up with only one way to get rid of Donald Trump. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and tell you what to do, but there's going to be only one way to get rid of him. Alright? And there's only going to be one way to get justice against ICE. And nobody wants to see that one way happen, but that's what's going to happen, alright? So we're going to have to deal with that. Now, I'm going to do a live video after this today, but I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't feel well. I'm very tired. I don't know what my problem is right now, except the fact that my birthday is approaching, and I guess maybe I'm getting more depressed. But we'll see. I don't think I'm depressed. I think I'm pretty happy at the fact that I lived this long. I have some other things I'm going to do. I want to get done today. I have to tell you what happens in the morning around here, so you have some idea what's going on. I wake up with no idea what I'm going to talk about today. Okay? I come out, and usually 90% of the time there's the Columbia News Channel is on, Caracol. And if I ask my wife, what did he just say? She said, what? Why it's on, I have no idea, because she's not paying any attention to it. But anyhow, I'm sitting here now, and it's after 11 o'clock already. This is why I tell you I don't like to have time pressure put upon me. But I get up in the morning, I wake up around 6:30, 6:45. I get up, I take a shower. Everything moves very slowly, folks, okay? Come out of the shower, get dressed, go out, have a cup of coffee, while I'm making my breakfast, have my breakfast and my second cup of coffee. Then I will, depending if my wife's not here, I'll watch CNN for a few minutes to see what's going on. I usually don't take Lucy to 9 o'clock because she's not awake. And then some days it's later than that. So we go for a walk. I go where Lucy wants to go. All right. If she wants to go up the hill, run across just a short, couple of blocks up the hill, and then come back down in the grass across the street and run in the park over there, that's what I'll do. And then if she wants to sit there for a while, I'll sit there for a while with her. All right. Because that's the time that I spend with her is when we're outside. 3 times a day I spend time. That's when I spend most of my time with her. But it's possible that she'll come in. She'll want to go for a long walk. And that's a lot. That long walk requires me walking up the hill, coming down, and then coming back down. With a little in between running around. Usually. Depends on the grounds. Depends on what the ground is and everything else that's going on around there. Who's out there, who isn't out there, everything like that. Going early doesn't do me any good, because if I go earlier, she wants to hang out with the other dogs that are out there, and I can't stop her from doing that. The rest of the time she spends in the house, and I don't want her to do this. I'm like, don't do that. Come on, let's go do something. So by the time I'm done, like today, by the time I'm done and I've had my breakfast and everything like that, and my third cup of coffee, which is my second cup of coffee, which is gone already, uh, it can be anywhere between 10:30 and 11. Now I have to really quick look and see if there's anything to talk about. What should I talk about? How, and this is why some of the things I say aren't deep, because I don't pay attention. I was up late last night watching a great football game, and the wrong team won. I hate the University of Miami, but what are you gonna do? They beat Ole Miss. I wanted to see Ole Miss there because Mississippi is a school that used to really be powerful and be around. And I remember the old days. So I guess I was I was looking for the old days to come back this year. But what can I tell you? So we do this, and then I'm here, and I have to do this video because as like what happened yesterday, I couldn't connect, and I don't know what the problem is, and I may not be able to connect when I'm done here. So this may be the only video you see today. I don't know. What can I tell you, folks? There's a good college game on tonight. Oregon and Indiana. Oregon and Indiana. What did I say? Oregon? Oregon and Indiana. I'd like to see this Indiana team go all the way. But here's the sad thing. Oregon's 12-2 or something like that. All right? They've got 2 losses. Indiana's undefeated. This is what starts all the conversations about the playoff system and everything else. Now, Oregon loses, or even if Oregon loses the championship game, they'll be like 14-0 or something, 14-1 or something like that, or 13-1. They win today, they're 13-0. If they win tomorrow, the next game, they're 14-0. I think that's it. Just 2 games left. So they finish 13-1. And whoever beats them is going to have 1 or 2 losses. Okay? Well, let's just say the game today. Oregon beats them. 12-2 team beats a 14-0 team. All right? And then 1 loss. And say it's a very close game. Not a blowout. Oregon doesn't beat them by 30 points or something like that. It's a 1-point game. Indiana is automatically out of any consideration for the championship. Okay? Even if Oregon loses the next game. Now they're a 12-3 team. All right? Oregon's not considered in the final rankings. This is what pisses people off. It used to be what got this started in the first place was that you dealt with major college teams like the Southeast Conference, Big Ten Conference, or whatever, and you'd have when everything was said and done, you'd have after the bowl games, you'd have 1 team that was undefeated. Okay, and the problem was that there were teams that had more wins because they played more games somehow or another. I don't know how that worked out back then. But anyhow, they weren't considered in for the championship. It was just the undefeated team automatically won. And it was usually somebody like Notre Dame or somebody like that, Mississippi, some of these big schools. It wasn't some unknown school or anything like that. So that started the controversy. Everywhere you go, there's a controversy. Now, I loved that. I was a bartender. I loved that because you could sit around and you could talk. You would talk about everything. It was very controversial. It made for conversation. Gave people something to talk about till baseball started. And then if you weren't a baseball fan, it gave you an alternative to talk to. But basketball back then wasn't gigantic. Basketball is gigantic now. And like the three-point shot in basketball because it just takes away a lot of the skill of the players that are involved. And everybody says, "No, what are you talking about, man?" I said, "Yeah, you go watch Bob Cousy play. All right, then come back and talk to me about it." Or Oscar Robinson was his last name. I think that's the Big O. You watch these guys play, Elgin Baylor and what have you, and then tell me the three-point shot's a great thing for, no, it's not. Takes it to the playground where everybody just takes the ball and shoots. So sports have changed a lot, and apparently people like it. I don't. I guess I'm a conservative when it comes to sports, but I like the competition level. I like the controversies in sports. When I say controversies, I mean your records. You talk about the records, who played who was really that better, and all that, And that means something to me, and it didn't mean anything to me really because if my team didn't win, then my team didn't win, and I went on to, started get other people involved in the conversation. So it was, it was fun. I rooted for Notre Dame a lot, but I didn't have anybody who went to a big school. My brother played football for the Merchant Marine Academy in Long Island. I'm not even sure they're even still in business, the United States Merchant Marine Academy. And he was supposed to go in the Navy for a few years after that, but he couldn't because his knee was torn up. He had the Joe Namath scar. Anything over 9.25 inches or something like that, they wouldn't take you. Back then, nowadays, you get the scars about an inch long when they get done doing that major surgery. But back then, they were using hammers and chisels, and they cut you open and they banged around in there pretty good, So, not different. Anyhow, so my interest has always been in small schools. I like to go watch Montclair State play. And when I was living in New Jersey, I enjoyed watching them. Uppsala, I watched a few games. My high school team I watched, they were never very good. And the games got it got to a point where you had to carry a gun to the game, and that wasn't something I enjoyed very much. Because they were violent. The games were violent, especially if you were white, because you'd be the only white person in the stands. East Orange was after I graduated, it was predominantly black. I think they had 5 white kids in the school after that. And the following year after that, they were told not to come back because they couldn't get, they were it was just too big a problem. I don't know why. I didn't know you could do that legally, but they did it. And so you have, my interests. I was a baseball fan when I was a kid. I was a baseball fan when Pete Rose played, Charlie Hustle, I loved him. I didn't care about his gambling. He was the greatest ball player I ever saw. Hustled every play. Some of these guys don't hustle. I wasn't a Yankee fan, so I wasn't really a Mickey Mantle fan. I was a big Hank Aaron fan. Because he wasn't getting the recognition he should. And he was, you had, oh, God. I remember the guy that came on and Jackie Robinson, the first black baseball player. I remember him. The Dodgers were my team. They had the cool names. Roy Campanella, Pee Wee Reese, Gil Hodges, all these guys. I remember all these guys. I remember seeing them play. I remember going to a game and walking down. I remember going to Ebbets Field. I remember going to Ebbets Field to see a Giants game. Or was it the Polo Grounds? I think the Giants played in Polo Grounds back then. Giants football game. And I go back to the old players in football, like Sam Huff. Sam Huff was one of the players that was responsible for football being what it is today. They mic'd him up during the game. And you heard every word he said. I don't know whether he didn't curse or how they managed to do that back then. But anyhow, you heard the whole game. It was a great experience, and you heard every time he went out and hit. One of the running backs, the contact that he made with him, because he was a middle linebacker, and it was just wonderful. It was just that made the game for me, really. And then when you go to the game and you stand on the sidelines like I did when my brother played, it's a true experience because you hear these guys hitting each other. Okay? If you play the game, you don't actually hear those hits. You feel them, but you don't hear them. When you're standing on the sidelines, you can hear them. That's an experience all by itself, you know. Anyhow, that's pretty much all I got to talk about today. I'm going to go make a live video. I don't know how long that one's going to last, but we'll see. You know, I'm getting a sore throat, so like I said, I don't know how. Can't find my cough drops either. So we'll find out how long that lasts, okay? All right, you guys take good. Hit that subscribe button. Please, 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 please subscribe to this video. I'm all right. I'm a nice guy. You know, I'm old, but I'm a nice guy. Anyhow, I will talk to you later. If you're over there by the live side, come on over. You know, you can comment. You can get into a little conversation with me or something. You know, and I'll tell you to kiss my ass, or you can tell me to kiss your ass, whatever the deal is. If you're a female, I might just look you up. Anyhow, have a great day, and talk to you tomorrow.